The following program deals with controversial subjects. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation. The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information. Tonight on Sightings.
It was a ship as big as my house.
A startling report on the latest UFO sightings with astonishing footage captured on home video. Then,
the Ouija board is not a toy and it's not a game.
We uncover the sinister power of the Ouija board. And is an alien space station casting this shadow across the lunar surface?
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. Tonight, an unprecedented review of the best UFO footage that we've received since Sightings first began asking for your videotapes. Out of the hundreds of photos and tapes that we have received, only a few can truly be called UFOs. Most of the material has been dismissed by our investigative team as conventional aircraft, atmospheric phenomena, or hoaxes. But there are some that defy explanation, even by the experts who make it their business to study UFOs. Tucson, Arizona. Topeka, Kansas. Bellevue, Wisconsin. Gulf Breeze, Florida. Branford, Connecticut. New Boston, New Hampshire. Kanazawa, Japan. Carp, Ontario. Something is happening in the skies above these cities, and it's being captured on videotape.
It was a ship. It was a ship as big as my house.
It was a total feeling of awe and knowing that I was looking at something that I didn't know what it was.
I think there's no doubt about the fact that it's the most dramatic thing and the most astounding thing, the most important thing that could happen here on Earth.
In Branford, Connecticut, George Bennett was videotaping a high school football game when this beautiful sunset caught his attention. But watch what appears unexpectedly on the left-hand side of the screen. In Bellevue, Wisconsin, local TV cameraman Dave Hooker was taping this windmill for a story about a local farm. When he viewed the tape back at the station, this is what he found. Jeff Sino is a video analyst who studies hundreds of tapes of alleged UFOs every year.
Here you can see an object moving behind a windmill here. Right there, it disappears into a cloud just before it goes behind this windmill. Clouds that day were at 25,000 feet, cirrus clouds. You know where the camera was put, you know the distance to the windmill, you can determine its size by looking at the image size here. Go through some trigonometry, and you'll find out that that UFO was about 10 miles away, up at 25,000 feet, and the size works out to about 500 feet long and doing 14,000 miles an hour, which is, again, nothing that a conventional aircraft is capable of doing.
Gulf Breeze, Florida has been a UFO hotspot for more than 6 years. Resident Bruce Morrison has made 177 sightings since 1988. On September 2nd, 1991, Morrison was out with a group of friends when he recorded this object with his home video camera.
Oh, look, it's brighter, brighter. There's another one. Oh, look at now. Who is that?
Look, drop! Look!
White again, there it goes. White again! Yo, look, it's right there.
Just drop something out, Gary. We've had it drop these little objects out, and they would go out at an angle from the red object we were looking at, stop and turn red, and we would have two red objects sitting there.
It gives you the impression of sometimes of fireworks. Sometimes it looks like a string coming out with a white ball on the end of it.
These startling videos are due in large part to the home video revolution. The proliferation of UFOs on tape has analysts working overtime including Robert Nathan of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
My feeling is the majority of the people who see something at night in the sky are telling a legitimate story in the sense that they certainly believe what they're seeing. But there are some people who are actively performing hoaxes, and it's a very difficult thing to separate these people.
This is a rare daytime sighting recorded in Kanazawa, Japan. A shiny, reflective disc descends rapidly, then suddenly, with tremendous speed, the disc shoots off at an acute angle. Watch closely as the camera zooms in. The outline of a saucer shape is unmistakable, but is this a true UFO or an optical illusion created by the sun? On August 19th, 1991, in the town of Carp, on the outskirts of Ottawa, Ontario, an anonymous videotaper shot some of the most compelling UFO footage ever recorded.
In February of 1992, I received a rather unusual package in the mail. It included a videotape and a series of documents. It was postmarked from the Ottawa, Ontario area without a return address. The documents and the label on the videotape made reference to an individual by the name of Guardian as the author.
The videotape shows what appears to be a disc-shaped object landing in a field behind the house of Diane Labinek. She was an eyewitness to the phenomenon.
On my property, I've seen lots of bright flames. They were not like spreading fires. There were more individual flames going extremely high and a lot of smoke. I saw this bright light. Right on top of it was like a beak, and it was blue light pulsing, and it had a light right on the bottom and a light right in the middle of it. And I seen a ship just coming down over the tree and going very closer to the flames. That night was a very traumatic night for me. I can always remember that night. It will never be forgotten.
Dr. A.J. Quarrington is one of the Labinek's neighbors. He also witnessed the UFO.
I looked out the back window, and in the sky was a great golden globe with a thin red rim. The only thing that came to mind quickly was that it was lightning, but I'd never seen lightning in a circular form.
There you can get some indication that you're looking underneath with lights on it, and then see a surface on the top here. This is a freeze frame here. You can see some indication of a bottom, and then actually from the glow behind it, you get kind of a silhouette of the shape of it. So from this aim, you can see some indication that there's a solid craft there that you can see the top of and also see something underneath. But at least there is the hint of a cylindrical object here.
One of the first things that we found when we located the site way at the back of the field down there by the tree line was that there was one specific area, a circular pattern really, where all of the plant life had been exposed to some form of radiation. And by that I mean it just kind of melted. Real healthy bushes just melted to the ground.
The footage was so compelling, we went straight to the Canadian Air Force, trying to rule out the possibility that the UFO is a secret military craft.
The events described, shown, do not match any of Canadian airplane movements or helicopter movement.
It wasn't an ordinary airplane, and it wasn't just an ordinary light. It was something more than that. It was a ship. It was a ship as big as my house.
Too many of them appear to be honest people. Too much of the data is too difficult to fake. It gets to the point when you have 40,000 reports of UFOs per year, of which about a quarter of them aren't easily explainable. To assume that all of those are misidentifications, frauds, hoaxes, secret aircraft just doesn't add up.
Since our report, Bob Exler has had additional phone conversations with Guardian, the mysterious UFO cameraman. He said he is holding more videotape of the Ottawa UFO, and we hope to bring you that footage on a future edition of Sightings.
Coming up,
The Ouija board is not a toy, and it's not a game.
these servicemen claim their Ouija board told them to go AWOL. We uncover the sinister side of Ouija next.
What do you think? Is the Ouija board a harmless toy or a pipeline to untapped psychic power? It's marketed as a game, and the manufacturer claims no connection with the paranormal. But others believe that Ouija boards have been known to make startling predictions. There are even some people who claim the Ouija board has changed their lives forever.
The Ouija board is not a toy and it's not a game, and I'd like very much to see it taken out of toy stores.
Unfortunately, there are many negative experiences with Ouija boards, just as there are positive ones.
I mean, I felt like I was being raped. Well, when I first started using the Ouija board, it was just for fun. And then about a year ago, I took it out and something happened. And I got scared and I put it away. And I went to bed. It was about 1:30. I kept feeling like there was something or someone in the room. And I tried to get up and I was pushed down. This tremendous force on my chest was picking me up and throwing me back down again. I felt like I was being attacked. I grabbed the sheets and I tried to hold down to the bed, but I couldn't. I mean, I felt like I was being raped.
The Ouija board, in one form or another, has been used for centuries by many different cultures. The first recorded use was in 479 BC, when a Ouija-like instrument was used in China to communicate with spirits of the dead. The contemporary Ouija board hit the U.S. market in the mid-1890s and was originally called a witch board.
Imagine, if you will, that the Ouija board is like a dimensional doorway. In using the board, you basically open yourself up as a receiving station. You can get something positive or you can get something extremely negative.
Some experts dispute its paranormal significance and suggest a more down-to-earth explanation.
Not all contacts on the Ouija board come from the spirit world. A lot of them are operated through the subconscious or unconscious minds of the operator or operators.
The Ouija board is a mechanical device which is used to facilitate automatism. And automatism is where a part of the body or the mind does something that is unconscious. In utilizing a Ouija board, the planchette can be moved by changes in the muscular tension of the people who have their fingers on the planchette, and that muscular tension can be controlled by one's subconscious or unconscious mind.
Perhaps the most bizarre case involving the use of a Ouija board occurred 2 years ago in Augsburg, Germany. 6 U.S. Army enlisted personnel, analysts with high-level security clearances, claim messages from a Ouija board encouraged them to risk their careers and imprisonment to carry out the directions of the board. Only now have 2 members of the group agreed to come forward.
Basically went to the Ouija board out of frustration to find answers about ourselves and other things.
Davis claims the Ouija board's responses were almost immediate and that they spelled out the details of impending worldwide disasters.
In a period of about 6 months, we really only used the board 7 times.
The entities predicted to us the Gulf War in May of 1990, 3 months before it happened.
As we got more involved with using the board, the information that we had received reached levels beyond our imagination.
Over a 6-month period, the group recorded predictions that foretold increasingly catastrophic events. They believe the Ouija board was also urging them to leave Germany and warn people about these disasters.
We were told by the spirits to leave. The phenomenal part of this whole situation is that we as a group got together, and in only 7 sessions, we had enough information that convinced us that we needed to leave.
On July 3rd, 1990, all 6 soldiers went AWOL. Their desertion triggered a worldwide manhunt, and law enforcement agencies around the world were told to treat the deserters as if they were terrorists.
In July of 1990, a group of soldiers stationed in Germany left their posts and came to see me in Gulf Breeze to discuss their paranormal experiences. I found that their experiences primarily had to do with the Ouija board.
Within days, the 6 soldiers were arrested in Gulf Breeze, Florida, by local authorities working with the FBI and military police. They were charged with espionage and taken to Fort Knox, Kentucky for interrogation.
We considered ourselves dead, gone. We would not be seen again by our families, and they had the same feelings.
But that was not what happened. After the soldiers were interrogated, the case took a bizarre twist. In a break with standard procedure, the Army decided to release all 6 soldiers with honorable discharges. Was there a connection between the unprecedented discharges and the Ouija board's predictions?
All of our predictions were documented. The military confiscated all of our written notes after we were captured 2.5 years ago. So the government knows that our predictions are extremely accurate, but for them to admit that publicly, of course, is a different matter.
The collective mind of these soldiers may have been operating, and not a spiritual one, because I've never seen a spiritual being tell a group of people to do something as drastic as that could get them locked up for the rest of their lives.
What power did the group really tap into? Was it their collective unconscious at work, or were otherworldly spirits using the soldiers as a conduit for their cataclysmic predictions?
What people tap into a lot of the times when they're experiencing a real negative phenomena with the board is what we call inferior spirits or low-level intelligence. These are people, entities, animals who have not migrated to the next level of life.
When utilizing a Ouija board, it's very important to set an intention of why you're doing it, so that if you're determined to create something that's very, very upsetting, it's very possible that your subconscious will cooperate with you and something like that would occur on the board. We were 6 people from different backgrounds and different beliefs that came together and experienced the same kind of phenomena.
If I could make a difference in the world, and if meaning going AWOL and giving my life for that would make a difference, then to me that's a good sacrifice. And I was willing to sacrifice that. Also, I felt the information we were getting was important enough not to be hidden. If there's a possibility of it happening, people need to be told.
So far, the group's predictions have been startlingly accurate. If their accuracy continues into 1993, they could be tracking worldwide disaster.
The entities that spoke to us on the Ouija board predicted the LA riots 2 years before they happened.
Looting and rioting did occur in Los Angeles 2 years after the group's original prediction. And their predictions for the coming year?
Future predictions the entities made to us included a major earthquake in California in '93 with a magnitude of approximately 8.3. A major earthquake in Seattle in '93, which will trigger the eruption of Mount Rainier. A major gas leak and explosion in New York City in '93. Also the collapse of European royalty in '93, the forming of the United States of Europe in '93.
Skeptics may deny the Ouija's power, but many still caution against its use.
I genuinely cannot recommend the use of the Ouija board. In my experience, there are too many negative experiences, and sometimes very serious negative experiences, recorded as a result of opening up areas of reality that the people are not ready to handle.
I think we're playing with something that we have no understanding about. These are very, very strange, unknown powers, and God knows what you're dealing with.
According to Vance Davis, the group hopes that their Ouija predictions for the coming year don't come true. If they should come to pass, the group believes that it will signal 6 years of cataclysmic change. Once the catastrophic chain of events begins, all 6 members say that they will go into hiding and won't reemerge until the year 2000.
Coming up, this shadow cast on the lunar surface was captured on videotape by a Japanese astronomer. Some claim it's an alien space station. We investigate next.
On a recent Sightings episode, we brought you information about the possible destruction of a Soviet space probe called Phobos by a UFO. Well, now, for the first time on American television, startling footage obtained from our Russian sources showing the unidentified craft that may have destroyed Phobos. In 1989, the sudden disappearance of Phobos 2 had ominous overtones. Now, Russian officials close to the space program feel free to offer their own theories about the satellite's demise.
Phobos 2 was supposed to enter the Martian sky and descend to an altitude of 15 meters. Phobos 2 was sending back pictures, as usual when suddenly the last picture from Phobos arrived. On that picture you could see Phobos, the Martian moon, and an oblong-shaped object. The object cast a passing shadow on Mars, and then Phobos 2 disappeared.
Scientists from around the world have studied the last photograph transmitted by Phobos 2. The oblong image shown here has been estimated to be at least 25 kilometers in length, nearly 13 miles long. Many believe that Phobos 2 photographed an immense alien craft. Now, nearly 4 years after the disappearance of Phobos 2, this footage, shot by a Japanese astronomer, may help explain the mystery. The footage shows a moving object, casting a shadow on our own moon's lunar surface. It appears here on American television for the first time.
We have not rejected the possibility that a spacecraft took Phobos 2. There is footage of a craft of a great length that flew over the lunar surface at the speed of over 200 kilometers per second. Can you imagine that? A huge space station moving that fast? I believe this is an immense UFO mothership, which may have taken Phobos 2. It's frightening, in fact. The day before Phobos 2 was launched, the senior designer of the project received a phone call. A steely male voice said, "Don't launch Phobos 2, or it will be destroyed by a large saucer." We all got a cold chill from this warning.
Could there be an immense UFO traveling through our solar system, ready to destroy any and all satellites that get too close for comfort? It is indeed a very chilling thought. If you photographed or videotaped what you believe to be a UFO, or if you've experienced any type of paranormal activity, our Sightings investigative team wants to know about it.
If you've had a paranormal experience, call our Sightings hotline at 1-900-740-SIGHT. That's 1-900-740-SITE. Each call 75 cents a minute, average call lasts 2 minutes, and you must be 18 years or older. Again, the Sightings hotline is 1-900-740-7483.
Join us next time for new investigations into the unexplained. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Spend Valentine's Day with the ones you love and catch special appearances by Martin Lawrence all night long, Sunday on Fox. Now stay tuned for another episode of Sightings next.